let's see what we got here. Round two. Hey Trav, how's it going? Loving your content. How do you feel about single mothers? Single mothers. Oh, okay. All right, now y'all come with some heat. Single mothers, man. Single mothers, okay. If you find the right women, but that's tough, man. It's tough finding the right woman, regardless or not of whether she's a single mom. It's just that single mother stuff comes about, which makes the vetting process a little harder. And what I mean by that is, so let me tell y'all a story, right? Okay, so I had this interaction with a woman one day. I met her at a salsa studio. So I ended up. This is back when I was personal training. I ended up going with a homeboy of mine to learn salsa. Right, salsa was just another form of cardio for me, and it was relaxing. I was outside, so I wasn't just cooped up, and it was just a way to burn some extra calories and get to see some beauties while you're at it. My boy took me and started to learn salsa. So we went to a few of these events, and we started to get to know the salsa community back home, right? And we started to get to know people, and you start to establish friendships, right? So we're establishing friendships. People are inviting us to other events, parties, things of that nature to dance. So I remember at one of these events, I met this woman, and I'm not going to say her name, but when she sees this, she going to trip. So I met her, and we hit it off, man. We danced well together, had great conversation. She was fun. Like, we just liked going out, doing stuff, enjoying life, just going to see stuff, events and whatnot, and it grew from that event onward. So we started hanging out and stuff a lot, and it got to the point to where, she felt that it was right to tell me about her family. So she told me about her family, and I found out that she had 2 kids. And mind you, I'm young I was in my mid-20s, and she was older than me, substantially older than me. But man, I don't know if it was that dancing or what, man, but it kept her fire. She was fire. Anyway, she introduced me to her kids. One of her kids was damn near my age. He was in his mid-20s. And the other was a little guy, right? So while I got along with both, I gravitated more toward the little guy because he was like a nerd, man. His mom and stuff, she worked all the time. Dad hardly came around. And he just stayed in the house, man. Video games and watching TV and shit, getting chunky. He's a little chunky kid. And when I came around, it was just like he was so eager to learn about me. And kids nowadays, they have TikToks and all this stuff, and they learn about different cultures. They learn about different things. So he had a lot of aspirations. So me coming in, me being younger, me being a male, I was able to show him a lot of things and introduce him to a lot of stuff. I was able to get him out of the house from gaming and snacking and all that. He started getting into sports, learning how to play basketball, going to the movies and stuff, taking him to movies and showing him movies, taking him with me just like when I'm going to the malls, I'm going to events, just to let him get a feel for being outdoors. Because his mom, she came out to dance and stuff like that, but she was really, she worked a lot. But she really wasn't just going out doing stuff. She would go to the store, come home, work, come home. That was pretty much like her life, right? Until she got around me and we started getting out doing stuff. So, like I said, I started to get acclimated to him and just gravitated toward him because he just wanted the right person to show him things. He needed that. And her being a woman, she wasn't really that, well, she was active, but she wasn't really that active, right? She would go to the gym every once in a while. That's how she kept her figure, but she wasn't. Nah. Anyway, I ended up bringing a basketball goal so we could practice, and he wanted to make the basketball team. I built a relationship with him as well. That's what I'm trying to say. And I didn't quite see eye to eye with the older kid. It's because he was only a few years younger than me, right? So I think the respect just wasn't there because I'm coming through not gonna block off his mom. So he just, while he was cordial, he was sort of standoffish and just sticking to his room. He was old gamer too, man. I don't know, these guys, these gamers, some gamers you can find are not, what's it called, introverted, but he was one of those introvert guys. So anyway, man, I ended up establishing a relationship with her kids, and our relationship grew. There was a time when his dad, right, their dad, would come around, it would be awkward because it wasn't often, right? But when it was, he wouldn't really speak much to my girl at the time, and he would just come and briefly hang with the kids, really briefly, maybe 5 minutes. He would never take them nowhere, would never do nothing with them, and I felt kind of bad for that too. That's kind of messed up. But anyway, so with our age difference, right, she needed someone to take that leap and establish themselves as the provider for the household, right? But me being in my mid-20s, I was still trying to complete my college degree. I was still hesitant about jumping into that fatherly role at the time. Just, I guess, settling down. I still had goals and dreams, right? I still wanted to be the man that I am today. I wanted the houses. I wanted the other investments. I wanted to just be the man I am today. And had I taken that role, right, stepfather, I would have never gotten to this point that I'm at now, right? And eventually a kid came later for me, but in that situation, since there was such a requirement, right? When I was there, man, I was paying maybe $2 something every few weeks for groceries and all this stuff. And mind you, I'm paying for tuition at this time. I'm still paying for my spot that I have, right? I'm still paying for just my necessities, right? On top of paying for her stuff too. And she wanted me to leave all of that and just be solely a family man and do all that stuff. And I was like, man, I'm trying to accomplish dreams. I can't give up what I got going on just because you're ready to settle down. I'm not at that stage yet, and I wasn't, right? So that started to cause a rift between us, right? And we would have arguments over that stuff, and she would be like, oh, well, I'm tired of you just coming over and stuff like that. You should just be here. And her youngest son, he would miss me when I'm gone and all that stuff because he would want to go out and do stuff. But if I'm not there with him, he just didn't do it. So, okay, gave y'all the backstory. So, things to take away from that is, because eventually it got to the point to where we just fizzled out, man, because her demands at the time were just so vast. And I get it, right? Her at her age, she was just ready to settle into, maybe she wanted to get married. Maybe she just wanted to settle into motherhood and not have to worry about anything else. Anyway, I'll tell you this. So my relationship with her youngest son, when we eventually broke it off, that hurt me the most, right? Your relationship with a person's child when they're single parent is solely predicated upon your relationship with that parent, right? So what I mean is, say for instance, if it's a daughter or a son, whatever, it don't matter. If you establish a good relationship with that kid, you have to keep things on the up and up with the parent in order to continue that relationship with the kid, right? And that's messed up, but that's one of the things you're going to have to take into account before you embark on this journey. That's the biggest thing for me. Another thing is entitlement, man. Entitlement. So, like I told y'all, one of the things was she wanted me to establish myself as the provider for the family. So, a lot came with that. She wanted me to pay for everything. She wanted to stop using her money, even though she made great money. She had her own business and everything. But she just wanted me to be the man, which I understand. But I just didn't feel like I was ready at that time to take on all of that extra responsibility. Paying her mortgage, paying her all of her bills, and my bills that I was paying for. So, again, being with a single mother, man, you're going to have the expectation, right? And if you are not ready for that, right? You need to understand that on the come in, right? You need to have that conversation with them about that because that will come up, especially if they're older, especially. And let me see what else. Now, I don't want to deter you from being with a single mother, right? That's not the purpose of the video. The purpose of this video is just to tell you my experience, right? Like I said, you can find some single mothers, man, who are just phenomenal, right? Who don't have that expectation. They really just want to see who you are and see how things go. But again, they do have a child, so they pretty much just want to solidify something so that it's not a bunch of, I don't know, I guess in and out relationships. I don't know. Maybe they're quicker to settle down, and that's what they want to do. But like I said, there's some single mothers, man, who just, they really want to get to know you. They're phenomenal. Have a lot of good qualities. They do a lot more than the average woman. So I wouldn't tell you to, I wouldn't knock it. I would tell you to just see what type of woman she is before you fully invest into that. Because like I said, it could be a little bit over your head, especially if you're young and you got a lot going for yourself, or you got time on your side. Like I said, I never knew that I would be at the point I am today. As a matter of fact, I think I did. Well, I had dreams. Like I said, I had dreams and aspirations, right? And that's, if you have those as well and you don't feel like you're ready, man, you got to say something. Because if you don't, you'll put yourself in a situation that'll leave you behind for years. And time is something that we don't get back. So utilize your time wisely. Like I said, if you're going to embark on these single mothers, man, right? Make sure that it's quality, man. Make sure that you have a clear understanding about what she wants and what you want. And if those things align, shit, knock it out, bro. Enjoy yourself, especially if you're young, man. Turn it up, man. It's your boy Trav, man, with another one, man. Until the next time, man. Peace.